Spanish Fandango is a very easy tune to play. We're going to play it through 2 times. The first time we're going to play it the most simple way possible. And it's very important to play this tune well. Even though it's very simple and it doesn't take much effort to play the tune, it's a beautiful tune and it's important to play it well. So you want your rhythm to be good. The rhythm in this case is 3/4 time. And I started it out by playing a 3/4 rhythm like this, which sounds very nice in open G. And I'm using 3 fingers to play that. You could strum it if you wanted. You could go, which would be fine. The way that I'm doing it is one technique that we've already talked about is you kind of lock 2 fingers together to play 2 notes at a time. Well, you can also lock 3 fingers together. And the way that you do it is you kind of retract this your second finger so that the fingers are all about the same length, and then you can play 3 strings at a time, and it sounds like this. So that's how I started the tune, and then the melody. Exactly. Okay. It only required, so far we've only used 1 finger on our left hand to play this, so it's easy. Now, so far we've only held down 2 notes on the guitar. The rest are the open chord strings that represent the G chord. Now the next thing we're going to do is make a bar, which means a finger all the way across the strings at the 5th fret. Now, in your guitar learning, you may have learned bar chords already. For instance, if I want to play in standard tuning an E chord looks like this. And if I want to make an A chord with a bar chord at the 5th fret, it looks like this. So you may have learned that chord. This is a bar just without any other fingers, just the straight across. And what we get is we have a G chord here, and here is now a C chord. Okay? It only takes the straight finger across because that's the beauty of this particular open tuning, is that it is a chord. Now, if you have trouble holding down on your guitar, if you have trouble holding down these strings, you might try some tricks. Here's a trick that you can use sometimes. If you don't need this finger, you can reinforce this finger with this finger. That's one kind of a trick. In this particular case, it's not going to help you too much. Another one that you can do is, instead of putting your finger flat against the guitar like this, angle your finger back like this a little bit, because your finger has more natural strength in this direction than it does in this direction. It bends in this direction, but in this direction it's pretty rigid. So if you can put your finger sort of at an angle like this, you'll have an easier time making this bar. So the next part of the melody goes, whoops, again. And I notice that I'm reinforcing this finger a little bit with this one, kind of like that. I'm just kind of pushing against the side of it, and I'm using my little finger to play the melody note that I need. So, open again. And then I'm going to play this chord, which is a D. And this is a nice D chord formation that works in open G, and it sounds like this. It's a D7. Okay? So, now I'm going to play these 2 notes in harmony, using 2 fingers at a time on the right hand. Repeat that. And then do this from the 3rd string down. And I'm just plucking it out with these any fingers that I want to use on this hand. Again. Now that's the whole structure of the tune, Spanish Fandango, but I've made a second part that you can work on when you want something that's a little bit more challenging, that's going to play it up high like an octave higher. And it's going to sound like this. Okay, I'm playing these two notes that are on the first and third string together using that technique we talked about before where I use my first and third finger. And then on this part of the melody, I'm going. Now, that may seem like a stretch. If you look at all these fingers in place on these frets that they're hitting, it is kind of a stretch. But what you kind of do is, as you walk up there, as you get to this note, and then this note, and then the third note, your finger is off of the first note. So your hand is really not stretched like it looks like it is. And then open again. So, okay, now we're going to bar at the 7th fret and make a D chord. And the melody is on the top 3 strings. Oh, open, well, they're not open strings, but they're on the top 3 strings that are in this chord. And then this same figure again. And then I'm going to go do this. So, see how I'm bracing that? I'm doing that subconsciously, but I do that a lot when I need to not stress my hand too much. And the last time through of the second part of this is exactly the same as the first part was. Now, let's slow it down a little bit. We'll split the screen, and you can follow along in your book.